Welcome back to Tournament Center with me, Rich, and him, BDM. In this show, we're going to talk about some of the cards that we think you may be seeing in New Extended. Now, I've got a ton of cards here. I've got more than he has, and that's because I've got the combos. So let's start off, BDM. First of all, a combo most people I think will have seen before. Punishing Fire and Grove of the Burn Willows. BDM, take it away.
Well, this is a two-card combination that really debuted at Pro Tour Austin in the old Extended format. It was good enough to win that Pro Tour. Brian Kibler played it in his Zoo deck, but we saw people playing it in Gifts Ungiven decks. We saw people playing it in control decks, and based on a lot of the stories we're hearing, people are cramming this into as many decks as possible.
The mono black control decks
with
some Punishing Fire.
Certainly, there's an ad nauseam combo deck that is relying on Grove of the Burn Willows and Punishing Fire in the early game to control aggro decks and buy themselves enough time to win. It's a recursive source of creature elimination. You know, you can do 1 point a turn to your opponent. It's very powerful, and it may be something that keeps, you know, the bears at bay for this event. In fact, people are really talking about eschewing aggro for the most part, and certainly if you don't have 3 toughness in this format, you probably have problems.
All right, combo number 2. This is really saucy. Ad Nauseam and Angel's Grace. See, Ad Nauseam lets you draw a whole bunch of extra cards, but you pay life and you run out of life. Angel's Grace says, not so much. BDM, this is just brutal.
This is such an amazing deck to me. And it's funny because Ad Nauseam, while it's excelled in the older formats, right? It's certainly been a card that's been played in Vintage. It's certainly a card that's played in Legacy. It's not really seen play in Standard, and it hasn't really seen anything in Extended. So this new Extended format has been its breakout so far. And the way it works is you draw your entire deck. You know, you cannot lose the game this turn. You pitch 3 Simian Spirit Guides.
Okay.
And you conflagrate your opponent.
Yep, for not enough.
For, you know, whatever. And now your conflagrate's in your graveyard.
Handy.
And you can flash it back for, you know, the 30 or 40 cards in your hand and kill your opponent.
Yep.
It's really an elegant little combo deck and is certainly going to see a lot of play this weekend.
Now, combo 3, when you look at this, you're not going to know what it says, unless, of course, you're Chinese. This is Living End and Violent Outburst in Chinese. So you better tell me what this does, BDM.
Well, Violent Outburst is one of a handful of cards that cascades for 2. And so it...
yeah, there's a 2 on here somewhere. Yeah.
So what it lets you do is play a number of the cards from Time Spiral block that were suspend cards that were reprints of really powerful old cards. So Hypergenesis, which is now banned.
Yep.
But Living End, which is a sort of a tricky version of Living Death, you can play this card for free off your Cascade. And if you happen to have a lot of, you know, Fulminator Mages and land, you know, creatures that land cycle and Street Wraiths, and you know, you can fill your deck up pretty quickly, rip through your deck, find some, find your Cascade cards. The only card you can hit off your Cascade is the Living End, and then boom, you have an army full of creatures. If your opponent had creatures on the board, they all die. Remember, it's exactly like Living Death, and it's just very, very powerful. Travis Wu is the guy who created this deck. He won a Grand Prix trial with it. He then got to the top 8 of Grand Prix Oakland with it. I was talking to him before the event. He's really surprised that more people aren't playing it. He thinks that this is a tremendously powerful strategy still. He thinks it's one of the big combos in this format, and he feels it's underappreciated.
Yeah, when you were saying about big Extended, the decks that are good in 7-year Extended, what would they be like in 4? Well, he made top 8 of Oakland in big Extended with this. So
exactly.
And I guess it's just a metagame question of, you know, where does it sit in and does it get hated? Is there a way to hate it? Now, number 4, this features one of my favorite cards of all time, Greater Gargadon, which is so much fun to play with, and Restore Balance combo.
Well,
take it away.
Restore, it works the same way. We're going to see, you know, you could easily have a Violent Outburst there or any other Cascade 2 card that's going to let you play your Restore Balance for free. I mean, it's balance. It's a free balance. It's a balance you can play at instant speed off of a Violent Outburst.
Yep.
And what you do is, you know, you're going to be resolving this Restore Balance. Well, you sack all your lands and all your creatures and whatever else you can sacrifice to your Greater Gargadon. Not so much that it comes into play before the Restore Balance resolves.
No, don't do that. That would be bad.
Your opponent loses all their creatures, they lose all their land, then you make the last couple sacrifices you need, you let the Greater Gargadon come into play, and you bash them for 9, and they have, you know, no resources with which to fight you.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. You can play with border posts, you can do a lot of different things with it. Just something interesting. Kind of moves up one tier in the suspend lottery now that the Cascade suspend lottery now that Hypergenesis is banned.
Neat. Now the last combo, I always say that May is the most important month in Magic, because May is when you get to choose whether or not to do something. This card, Hive Mind, says whenever a player casts an instant or a sorcery spell, each other player copies that spell. Not May, just does. And what I've got with it is a moderately useless, most of the time, Pact of the Titan. I could have a lot of other pacts here, and there's a reason I need plenty of others, BDM.
Sure. Well, I mean, you with the Hive Mind in play, you then play a pact for free. Your opponent puts a copy of it, on the stack. It resolves, and then during their upkeep, they may pay for the Pact of the Titan, or they can't pay for the Pact of the Titan, and they lose the game.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. So it's and then this is another deck that was also good in Big Extended.
Yep. And this is a deck also that's running
This was
red
a PTQ deck.
Titans and
Yeah.
red and white and green. We're going to see. So I mean,
Sometimes even has the blue one, to counter stuff.
well, indeed. So my question for you is, somewhere this weekend, someone is going to play against Hive Mind and have a mana base so diverse, with so many vivid creeks and things with counters on, some 5-color control deck, they're actually going to go, you know what, pay for the 4 packs that you made me pay in my upkeep.
No, they're not.
No? No?
No, they're not.
Oh, sigh.
They're going to probably lose.
They're just going to lose?
I think they're just going to lose.
Oh, what a shame. All right, that's 5 combos. We've barely scratched the surface of combo land here. There are so many frighteningly entertaining decks this weekend. We're going to do a ton of deck takes for you. Yeah. But you've got some individual cards now.
I mean, just some cards are combos unto themselves. Bloodbraid Elf. This could also be a Jace the Mind Sculptor. It could be. I mean, there's Frank and Conley in the piece both referred to these cards as engines in search of a deck, right? Sure. So Bloodbraid Elf. It's just a great card. People are going to play Jund this weekend. People are going to play Zoo decks with Bloodbraid Elf into Boom Bust. Pretty exciting.
Yep.
People are going to play Bloodbraid Elves that cascade into the last remaining of the suspend cards here. This is Ancestral Recall. Off of a Bloodbraid
because
Elf.
you get it free.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're also going to see, I think, Ancestral Vision. This is a card. This could be a faeries deck. This could be a Mystical Teachings control deck. It could be anything.
Now, I'm glad you've mentioned fairies, because when New Extended came out, the very first thought people had was, it's the Revenge of Bitter Blossom. It's everywhere. We've been around the tables? Maybe not.
Well, it's certainly not, the spell stutter sprites are certainly not going to be as prevalent as people expected. I can't imagine that there's not going to be people who say, I don't know what to play. I'm going to play an aggro control deck. And that's fairies, right? That's spell stutter sprite. I'm going to counter the things you do. I'm going to, while mounting an offense, I'm going to just win the game ultimately, and there's really nothing you can do about it, right? That was kind of I'm going to misbind click you. I'm going to do all those horrible things, but it's not. Doesn't look like it's going to be the dominant deck. And in fact, talking to a couple of the players, they felt, well, fairies might even be a lazy choice. So that'll be interesting to see how well this deck does. But it's been underestimated before.
And that's when it's extremely dangerous.
Sure.
Okay, what else you got?
Well, another card that people are kind of a little, not down on. I mean, it's like, it's still an awesome card. It's Tarmogoyf. This obviously just goes right into Jund. It goes, right into all sorts of strategies.
It's the Putrid Leech replacement.
Sure, or supplement, if you will. But, the word on the street here is that this is not going to hit 5/6. You're talking about a 2/3 or 3/4. It's kind of an on-curve creature. It's a little fairer than maybe you've seen it in other formats. I don't know if I'm buying it.
A little fairer.
I don't know if I'm buying it.
Okay, anything else you got there?
Yeah, the final card I got here is...
Really?
This is... no, not really. This is supposed to be a Murmuring Bosk.
Oh.
I mean, Murmuring Bosk is a card you can, fetch with dual lands. So you can, Misty Rainforest and get white, black, or green. Did you get me a Murmuring Bosk?
I don't actually have a Murmuring Bosk for you.
Okay, well, one of the cards you can get a Murmuring Bosk with, besides a fetch land, is a Treefolk Harbinger. Did you get me one of those?
The uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get one of those.
Did you go to the dealer's tables?
I went to the dealer's tables.
They were out?
No, they didn't. Well, they don't always carry a lot of uncommons.
All right, well, give me a Dorian then. I mean, just...
We'll see you on day 1 of Pro Tour-Amsterdam 2010. Rich and BDM, Stroop Waffle. Let's go.
All right.